Trying to read between the lines with Jerry. Shannon, do you believe they're tanking?
No, hell, why would they tank? Skip? If they were in the AFC North, I would say tank. Pittsburgh is 7-0. You're out of it. You're not catching Pittsburgh if you're in that division. If you're in the NFC West and you just have this record, I was like, yeah, you're out of it. Go ahead and start looking at evaluating players. Skip, they're a game and a half out of first place with 7 games to play. Let me tell you how I know. You want to tank? Put Bad back in the game. That's how I know you tanking, Skip. Because then you got no chance of winning. You tank it without even letting people know you tank it. That's how I know they're not tanking. They're looking for fixes. They say, we're going to go to Cooper Rush. We're going to try to maybe turn to Garrett Gilbert. If you were trying to tank, you saw what being put on the tape on Sunday, Skip. Put his butt back in the game. Then you tanking. They're not tanking, Skip, because they're trying to win. That's why Ron Rivera, Skip, he benched the first-round draft pick and started quarterback. He's like, hey, man, I got a chance to win this division. This division is going to be terrible, and a terrible...
Yeah, but that was his quarterback from Carolina, Kyle Allen, that he knew and liked, right?
But
believed in.
And he knows, Skip, I don't have to win 10 games to win this division. I can win maybe 6, 7 games, and I'm going to be the division winner, and I'm going to have a home playoff game. So why not? So why would Jerry tank, Skip, a game and a half back? Right now, with 7, I think they got 7 games to play. What are they, 2 and 6? So they got 8 games to play. They got 8 games to play. They're not out of this by no stretch of the imagination. So Jerry's not taking. I understand. Now, there might come a time, I don't believe, Skip, first of all, I don't believe Jerry's going to tank because I don't see a scenario in which a team can go on a 3-game win streak and blow this division open. So this is going to come down to weeks 14, 15, 16, and 17. So they're going to be in it all the way because, as you mentioned, the schedule that the Eagles got, the schedule that the Washington got, ain't nobody going nowhere. They're going to be right there. Everybody's going to be right there in the pack. So, no, they're not tanking, and it's not time to evaluate players. It's time for your best players to play their best football and get you back in this and get you atop this division.
Painfully and unfortunately, I disagree with your position on this. I believe Jerry Jones has now engaged in what I would call passive-aggressive tanking. I believe he's set this team up to potentially lose every remaining game. Even you have agreed that it's possible they would lose out.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely could.
And that could be with Andy Dalton at quarterback anyway, right?
Yes.
So I liked what Jerry said. He's being actually painfully honest because he was saying when it comes to tanking, it's not like the players are tanking because they're playing for their jobs, man. They're going to play hard.
I'm coming here practicing, meeting, doing all this meeting. Oh, no.
Right. Are coaches going to coach as hard as they can coach?
Absolutely.
Are they going to coach desperately hard?
Yes.
Yes, they will.
Because they coach you for their job, too.
What did Jerry do last week? He cleaned house. He cut bait with every free agent he signed in the offseason. Every one of them right down the list except for Aldon Smith, if you sort of include him.
Right.
But that wasn't really, I'm going to go out and sign Aldon Smith. I'm just going to take a flyer, right?
Yes.
Okay. Jay Glazer, our man here at Fox, vouched and said, believe in him. And Jay was completely right about this. So they took a shot, and it worked. He may have hit the midseason wall for a couple of games. He hasn't been quite as active. But still, Jerry said, we're going to go ahead and play young players and a few players that we're going to believe in enough to give them a longer-term deal.
Right.
Well, I think he just said Aldon Smith, as you pointed out, they could have traded him.
Right.
Well, I think they're going to give him some money.
I think they're going to keep him, too.
Right?
Jerry made it clear, like, he's going to be a free agent and going to get some money.
He's going to get some money from the Dallas Cowboys. So he's part of the quote-unquote rebuild to me.
Yes.
Okay, so look down this list. Dontari Poe, HaHa Clinton Dix, Darryl Worley, Everson Griffin, who they obviously traded, Gerald McCoy, who got hurt, but then they cut bait. Brandon Carr, who I thought might be the starting safety this year, who had started every game he'd ever played in the National Football League. They cut him, and I kept banging the table over here. Go get Earl Thomas. If you really want to go steal the least, as in the NFC East, go get Earl Thomas, a made man at safety. He's got all kinds of baggage. Shannon Sharp says, no, I don't want him in my locker room. The Texans voted, and they're a terrible team. They voted no. We don't want him in our locker room.
Right.
I want him in my secondary because I don't have anything remotely like Earl Thomas, as a playmaker.
You don't, but it seems to me Jerry got rid of a lot of the bad apples that he thought was causing problems in his locker room.
Okay, they're all bad apples in that none of them believed in Mike Nolan's system. None of them. These were all the guys. Some of them had made Pro Bowl. Several of them had made. In fact, I'm going down the list here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 had made Pro Bowls. They're saying, what the hell is this? They're making their voices known. They're getting louder and louder in the locker room. This guy has no idea what he's doing. Remember the anonymous quotes that Jane Slater had, NFL.com, NFL Network? What were those about? They were from some of those guys on the defensive side of the football.
Let me ask you
all
this.
defensive.
If Dak Prescott is healthy, the Eagles turned the ball over 4 times, do you believe the Cowboys win or lose that game?
Well, you obviously know what I think.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe if Dak had been healthy, I believe they'd beat Washington. Well, Andy Dalton was terrible that day. So
okay.
He was flat out terrible.
I know, but when you're giving up, what'd they give up? 200 yards rushing?
Yeah.
And remember, they're still dead last in yards rushing allowed.
Yes.
Okay? You already told me about Green Bay.
Yes.
Aaron played great, you know.
Yes.
Okay, well, you can't overcome that. You can't overcome the Cleveland Browns rushing for 307 yards because Dak was my quarterback that day, and he almost rallied him back, but it's hard to rally back from 41 to 14, right?
And Arizona comes back and rushes 240 against
240. You. Okay, you can't, Dak or no Dak.
Right.
But again, to your point, Washington, Philly, you can beat those teams.
And I think sometimes...
Okay, what do I always tell you? And I think you've finally given into this. Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC least. For what is what?
Walk it to him.
He is not. You know it, and I know it. You want to talk about a turnover nightmare machine?
He is, Skip, and that's concerning because I've never seen a guy that turns the ball over as a young quarterback gets better at protecting the football as an older quarterback. That's the problem they're going to have with the Giants. That's how you evaluate Daniel Jones.
I agree.
Skip, I've never seen it. Normally, guys that are careful with the football as young players are careful with the football as older players.
Yep.
What did Brett Favre do as a young player? Turn it over. What did he do as an older player? Even except the anomaly season that he had in Minnesota, his first year in Minnesota.
But he was so spectacularly good that he could overcome the bad. Okay, got it.
With this,
but Daniel Jones can't overcome the bad.
No. Okay. So, in other words, Skip, I believe Lawrence and Justin Fields. I mean, some people like Justin Fields, some people like Trevor Lawrence. Said Trevor Lawrence is ready to play. He's prototypical, 6'5", 240, big-time arm.
And he can run a little bit.
Yes, Justin Fields reminds you a little bit of Kyler Murray, but he doesn't have the legs. He's not the dynamic player.
He's much bigger than Kyler. Yes.
So right now, the Jets, Giants, Jags have the top 3 pick. Now, could Dallas at some point in time, Skip, lose enough games to be in that top
Absolutely
2?
they could.
Absolutely they could.
Yeah, because
then Jerry's going to have to make a decision.
Okay, so back to what he's doing here. He said, nope, I believe in Mike Nolan. When I believe in his heart of hearts, he's not sure about that. I would have fired Mike Nolan 3 games ago.
Mike Nolan probably, if McCarthy had a 5-year deal, Mike Nolan probably has at least a 3-year deal. Do you want to go ahead and get rid of the man? I know.
Okay, do you want to win or not? I'm talking about, are you all in to win?
Yeah.
Okay, well, no, he says, I'm going to keep Mike Nolan. He's all behind Mike McCarthy. He's my man, you know. Then we're going to talk about this later. Why wouldn't you switch at midstream once Dak is gone and take the play calling duties away from Kellen Moore and give it to Mike McCarthy, whose trademark his whole career has been calling plays, albeit for Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I got it. Or even back to his Joe Montana days, wasn't calling plays.
So Paul Hankins was calling plays.
Right.
So now Aaron Rodgers might need to get a little bit more credit because we see what your guy doing in Dallas. We see what he
I don't know what he does. He just stands there.
We saw what he did with Brett Hundley. Now, Kyle Shanahan has been taking C.J. Beathard. He's been taking Nick Mullins. He's been taking a whole lot of guys and winning some games. Now, he won more games with those other guys than he won with Garoppolo. Garoppolo just can't stay healthy, but that's another story. I think sometimes, Skip, the defense plays harder when they know their starter is there. Dak was there. I believe the defense plays a little harder. Skip, it's hard going out there with your name. Man, wait. I don't know, man.
Okay, seriously? Okay, seriously? Did you see what Atlanta did at Jerry World to Dak's Dallas Cowboys? It was 29-10 at halftime.
And then they buckled down and said, Dak, we going to get...
Did they?
Yeah, they buckled down.
What was the final score, like 45-44? Or 40-39 or something? Okay, all right.
And that's what it was.
They buckled down.
They buckled down. Kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
And then they Ben DiNucci, they're like...
Okay, well, I got you, and that's true. But still, I can show you, again, I hate to bring up this stat, but Dak Prescott in his last 17 starts was 6-11. How hard was the defense playing for Dak in those 11 losses?
They were, baby.
Okay.
But I think, Skip, the kid, Diggs, he's going to be a player.
Okay, all right.
You can win with him. And I get D-Law, if I get D-Law to keep playing like he playing.
Okay, so Jerry is sitting back right now saying, I'm in a good spot.
Yes.
If we, quote unquote, tank naturally, if it just starts happening where we lose every game, I'll shrug and go on and say, man, I got to think about one of these quarterbacks now. Should I
you
go get one?
You realize now, that's going to be, if he takes a quarterback, that's the end of Dak.
It would be the end of Dak. You would have to say, he's too rich even for my blood.
Right.
I have a history of overpaying my stars, but he wants in the 40s. I don't think he quite deserves 40-something. But if I can get Trevor Lawrence, you know, Trevor Lawrence would be Jerry's cup of tea.
Because that's a rookie contract, too.
Okay.
So even though, you know, you're talking about probably have to give him somewhere around $35, $36 million guaranteed.
Right.
I got it for 5 years.
Okay.
$35, $36 million as opposed to $40 million per year.
Okay.
But we'll take Dak in Denver.
Okay. And if you traded Dak.
You can't trade him. He's going to be a free agent.
Okay.
And that,
Yeah,
you have to put the tag on him.
Yeah.
You'd have to put the tag on him.
I think you could still pull that off.
Yeah, you absolutely could. You could still put the tag on him.
What is it, 38?
Yes.
Somebody
It
would
would
bite
be just
on that.
like what they did with the Texans did with Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
They put the tag on him, and then they ended up trading him to Seattle.
Could you get at least a 1 for Dak? You better
No,
believe
we give you the 1 for you.
Yeah, 1. We need your 1.
No.
You got Drew Lock. He's the comeback king.
Well, look here.
Right?
Drew Lock's played well, but I'll take Dak over Drew Lock.
And the other plan for Jerry is he sits back up in his big owner's luxury box, and he says, if we steal this division, I'm also good with that.
Yes.
Because I'll have a home playoff game, and Arizona will come back to Jerry World and blow us off the field 38-10.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. It's kind of, I don't necessarily, the home playoff game is not what it used to be because you're not going to be able to have 80,000 fans, Skip. You lose so, I mean, yeah, you in your building.
You do.
Yeah. But 80,000 with concession and parking.
Hey, if Jerry has a home playoff game, he may just say, I'm sorry, the gates are open.
Yes.
We want 80,000 people in here.